Okay, I'm a little bit tired and getting enough sleep, but let's do this. Let's finish this video off.
Well aware that Tolkien refers to Galadriel as athletic and strong. No.
Y'all ready?
Never let go. Never let go.
Never let go.
Now that's very naughty.
Fun.
On the greater lore. However, there is actually, from what I can see, some debate amongst hardcore fans about what Tolkien meant when he was talking about Galadriel.
I don't know much about Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. I've only seen the movies again years ago, so I can't speak to this. I can only speak to how I think about it.
References to her fighting are vague, and people seem to be endlessly arguing about exactly how she fought, how much, and whether he meant physically or not, because that doesn't seem to be so clear. Everyone seems to have a different opinion and interpretation of that. Interpreting Galadriel as being a physical fighter in her youth is not necessarily a wrong interpretation, and I even stated in my video that I could be completely wrong. That Amazon might have handled Galadriel's character with care, that they might have respected Tolkien's lore and made her a believable female character who is good at fighting. Here's why I doubted this, though. The fact that they've decided to give us this incarnation.
I have been watching reviews. I did watch, to contradict myself a little, I did watch some reviews of Rings of Power Season 1. I'm currently watching Rings of Power Season 2 reviews, and it does seem like Galadriel is very stuck up, very stupid, and kind of overpowered because she just takes a volcano to the face and lives. So
Incarnation of Galadriel at a time and as part of a greater trend of so many female characters being masculinized is why I was suspicious. This, and also what the show's creators were saying about her, made me think it was likely we would not be seeing a rounded
incredibly too strong and good at kind of good at everything. Well, too good at some things, at least, because she tried to swim from the middle of the ocean to like the land, like 1,500 miles away or something like that, which is obviously really far, but farther than I believe anyone, even in Lord of the Rings, could swim. It's crazy.
Believable warrior Galadriel who was still allowed to be feminine, but instead we'd be seeing just another hashtag strong female character who just likes to beat people up and is strong just because of that. It seemed to be gearing up to be a case of this Galadriel better than old Galadriel because this one has a sword. And yes, I did find that insulting. I definitely could have been clearer on that, you're right. Not that it would have mattered if I had, because you didn't watch the video anyway. But that's actually sort of beside the point. Despite the thumbnail, the main point of my video wasn't about Galadriel. I used her as a springboard to talk about the value and meaning of femininity and why I find it insulting that people keep taking on traditionally feminine characters and lazily making them just good at fighting, as if being feminine is not strong enough on its
own. I don't know why they keep doing it. They did this with the Peter Pan movie. Most of the women there are really just fighters and they don't have much character. Why do this? I don't understand it. I mean, if you were, let's say, I wouldn't even say they're good writers, because you could do both. You could make them interesting characters and good at fighting, but they're mostly just good at fighting. So I'd say I think it's just bad writers. It's easier to make a character good at fighting than to make them interesting,
its own. But then you don't think it is, do you?
How is her fighting in a war tearing away what makes her powerful? Isn't that a demonstration of what makes her powerful?
I should keep my mouth shut and have babies.
She's a pick-me. No wonder she's dressed like this.
Yeah. Well, you already went over the pick-me stuff.
Pick me, Vorsh, please. Vorsh, won't you pick me? In fact, this whole video response was an attempt to get your attention because, as we've established, I'll take any kind of attention from men. So please, Vorsh, pick me.
Shut up, bitch.
Do you guys think I have a
Really
chance?
wants attention, you know, showing off. Oh, she's not showing off her boobs. Oh, maybe not in the other video either. Oh, she's wearing no, the skirt isn't that short, and she's wearing leggings, so it covers up even more. So, what?
Chance with him.
Stupid fucking bitch.
I think he likes me.
Existentially revolting.
So
I think you should, the observer. He really did like you.
here, Vorsh has done exactly what I was talking about in my last video. I must only value femininity because I'm desperate for male attention. As the feminist chicks like to say, not everything we do revolves around men. It's not all about you, Vorsh. It couldn't possibly be because I value women. God, don't be so ridiculous. What could there be to value about women? There's nothing good about women, which is why we have to make them.
Exactly, you know, they should just be barefoot, having babies, and making food all the time, you know, all at the same time, pushing them out as them doing the dishes, you know, conveyor belt, you know. That's what they should be doing. Obviously.
Make them more like men. No, it must really be because I'm dying for male validation. What other reason could there possibly be for finding any value in femininity? And I'm the sexist. The lack of self-awareness is amazing. Do you guys remember
It
when
really is, because she showed that clip again of J.K. Rowling. The thing that she said, you know, you remind me of my ex-husband, you know, saying I should just shut up and comply, and then Voss says women should be quieter and start apologizing challenge. I don't understand how you don't see the contradiction.
I said that the men who condescend to me the most are male feminists? Remember when I said they are the most likely to treat outwardly appearing feminine women as frivolous or stupid or weak or gullible? The most likely to dismiss them? Remember that?
She's a pick-me. No wonder she's dressed like this.
I don't want to value femininity because I want to be empowered or independent. Silly bimbo like me. No, I just want to be sexually harassed.
She just wants to live in Mad Men and be sexually harassed.
And then Vorsh yet again decided to
Mad Men, do they sexually harass a lot of women in Mad Men? I've never watched the show. I've seen commercials for it a long time ago, but I've never seen it.
A 1970s misogynist and say this.
Lady, if you want to have kids so bad, get fucked and pop some out.
Goodness me, he's right. Look at me thinking I could give my opinions on serious topics. No, I just need to shut my mouth and have a few kids.
How do you say all this stuff if you're Vosh and you're still popular? How did that happen? I don't understand it. You know? Should I just start saying women are bitches? Women are bitches. Am I popular now? I'm not. How? The ponytail. That's what it is. The ponytail and the beard. And the wife beater. I should start wearing those. I'll become popular then.
Stick to what I'm good at.
This is such like I wish I was a mother but aren't for some reason energy.
That's clearly all I want. And the only reason I'm even talking about femininity in the first place. My poor neurotic and hormonal female brain is out of control, baby mad, and just needs a couple of kids to calm it down. Then maybe I'd get off the internet and keep my mouth shut, know my place, that sort of thing.
Maybe if she inflicts her motherhood on some actual children, she could leave the channel alone.
And poor Vorsh would.
He is actually sexist. Is he racist too? I wonder.
Have to witness such an obscene feminine display. He finds it quite disgusting.
To have kids or something.
I'm only good for babies. Imagine thinking I could be taken seriously when wearing a.
If she were to have babies, would That's not a counter argument to anything she's saying. I don't understand how in your brain that you can say that and think that's a good counter argument. What?
A skirt.
She's wearing a fucking skirt with stockings.
You don't help yourself, Vorsh. You really don't. The reason I mentioned you in my last video was as an example of a man who claims to be progressive, but who in reality is just incredibly disdainful of women, and you've proved me right at every turn. I'm actually kind of shocked by just how much you're proving it. I'd have at least thought you'd have the sense to pretend to hold back a bit if you were going to respond, but apparently you don't. Yes, Vorsh, I do want to be a mother. I still want to work, but I also want to be a mother. Why are you saying that like it's an insult and makes me deserve it?
Why do you say it like one doesn't, you can't do both? You can do both.
Of disdain? Why do you see that as degrading? Is
I
it because
wonder, Ross isn't dating anyone. Right? No, he isn't. He couldn't be. He hates women too much.
you see something in femininity as inherently degrading?
The women's put up with that. You know, all these like people like Pearly Things, Justin, the other guy that we're gonna do a video on, and Vosh. All these people are like single, and they all say stuff like this, and they proclaim to, say things about women, or about relationships, but they're not in relationships. At least I don't think Vosh is in a relationship. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they all claim to have this big perspective on relationships, but they're not in one. Why should I? Yeah, you can have a good opinions on relationships and not be one, but I question how good your advice is if you're not in a relationship,
Personally, I'm of the opinion that being a mother is one of, if not the most important and brave things a human being can do. But if it makes you feel better to take your mummy issues out on
I would agree with that. It's the most important thing you can do. I mean, it literally furthered the humanity. So if it didn't happen, humanity would go extinct. I agree with that.
Women, then go for it, I guess. Also, isn't the definition of a pick-me putting down other women to raise yourself up? I'm getting pretty tired of saying this, but if you watch the video...
Let's look it up again. Pick me girl meeting. A woman who asserts that she is unlike and sometimes better than most other women in order to gain attention, approval, or validation from men. Yeah, basically.
Video, I made it clear several times that I value all women, no matter how masculine or feminine, that I include all kinds of women in what I'm saying, and that I considered masculine women just as valid.
Yeah,
because they are.
I like muscle mommies. Muscle mommies are good. We support muscle mommies,
I think my video was incredibly supportive.
I mean, if I wasn't dating my current girlfriend, I would definitely go for a muscle mommy, who doesn't, I usually throw around women sexually. So, I wouldn't mind being thrown around sexually,
Supportive of women. The proof of that is the overwhelming number of comments and messages I got from women and girls, from very feminine to very masculine, teens to older women, very far left women to traditional conservative Christian women. A lot of women and girls across the board who generally seem to agree my video spoke to them, resonated with them, and put to words their experience, because there is something shared in the female experience. experience, no matter how feminine or not a woman is. For some of them, they said it made them not feel so worthless or weak or pathetic for being feminine, helped them appreciate the innate value in themselves, and there were a few teenagers who had no idea that the feelings I was describing were fairly common female experiences, and it made them feel like perhaps
I'm going to interrupt it here, but I think we should do that for male and females. We all should try and support everyone more.
they weren't complete aliens in their own bodies. But I'm so sorry it didn't live up to your high standards of feminism.
That is something I will never understand. Feeling like an alien in your body. I've always felt normal in my skin. I've never had that moment. Again, like I said, puberty was very easy for me, and I think very easy for my friends. So I would like to talk to with someone about this, with her, or I may talk to I may get them on the channel and talk about it with them.
Vorsh. Sorry it didn't validate you or speak to you or even apparently make sense to you because you didn't watch it. But the video wasn't for you. It was for women and girls. The people feminism's supposed to be about. My points about the strength and femininity just went way over his head. Mainly because he didn't listen to any of my points, and all he seemed to take away from the video was that I wanted to go back to the 1950s, get sexually harassed, and oh yes, how did he put it?
Get fucked and pop some out.
Accused me of grooming. Yes, really. Vosh is an actual pedophile, So again, he probably just thought about children with like, oh, I need me some children, And then he was like, oh shit, I'm not a pedophile. No, you're a pedophile. That's what probably happened.
So yes, apparently now I'm a groomer.
The literal grooming.
Vorsh says so, and I guess he would know. Telling young girls it's okay to be comfortable with their femininity and not hate themselves for it is grooming now. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's funny eyes there, but there's nothing wrong being comfortable with your femininity or masculinity or any of that. Being comfortable with yourself is a good thing. I don't know why people don't. Why is Vosh popular? It's actually it's kind of funny. Whee!
Sorry guys, I don't make the rules. Vorsh knows all about how it feels to be a young
Can you tell how done with this I am?
girl struggling with your femininity. He knows all about how those feelings can follow women into adulthood.
Tell how tired I am.
And completely screw with their identity. He knows how it feels to be at war with your own body in that way, to feel worthless or valueless or pathetic because you're feminine. Remember guys, if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Vorsh's omniscience is to be trusted. Vorsh, this might be hard for you to believe because I know you've stated several times you don't care about anyone, and from the sounds of it, I'm pretty sure you're dead inside. But it is actually possible to genuinely care about other human beings.
Sorry. Police are happening. Oh, those are the fire trucks. Okay.
I care a lot about women and girls. Not everyone has shitty ulterior motives, Vorsh. I love my little sister very much, and I also remember
Do you think the fact that Vosh being a pedophile, do you think that affects his ability to understand other people? Because do you think he just assumes everyone has an ulterior motive with children like he does? Because I would imagine that, if you're always like, oh, look at that child. Oh, yeah, I want to fuck it. I imagine if you're thinking about that every time you see a child, you're like, this is normal, right? Other people wouldn't feel like this, Or like, if other people are talking about how they care about children, they're the same way. I wonder if that how pedophiles think. You know, because I watch a lot of Skeet Hansen, PCI, all those people, and they're always like they say what they did wrong, but they don't actually believe it, and then they justify it, or they don't think it's wrong, which I understand, because it's like, well, if you find that attractive, you're not going to think it's wrong because that's how your brain is wired. Or I hope that would be the case, because I hope somebody just doesn't know something is wrong and does it anyway, I hope, that they're, I don't know, I just hope people aren't as evil as, I just hope people are a little bit less evil, I wonder if that's how Vosh thinks, that whenever people talk about children, it's that there's a secret ulterior motive there,
What it was like to be a teenager. So yes, I do care about teenage girls and their experiences, and it is a totally wholesome and genuine concern for them. But thank you for trying to make it weird, you absolute cabbage. Yes, darling, if you address teenage girls about the experience of being in a female body, it would be weird. Correct. But I'm not a slightly creepy older bloke. I know you're not great with nuance, but are we seeing why this might be different? I'm also not sure how intelligent it is to accuse someone of something that you yourself seem far more likely to be guilty of.
Next, you have done. He had lolly. Crap. Oh, this guy. I was talking about this guy. I've seen this video. And we're gonna be reacting to that video next.
Picking up on my meaning. I think even those who intensely dislike me would agree that though I have many flaws, hard to believe, darling, I know, but nobody's perfect. Though I have many flaws, coming across as creepy with children is not one of them. It's just not, is it?
Well, to be fair, women come across less creepy with children than men. I think that's a social thing. Because women are seen as less threatening, So I think that is definitely the case, and obviously the bigger factor is that Vosh is just creepy and says creepy shit about everything, and thinks about sex and thinks about children weirdly and connects them really weirdly, because Vosh literally said there shouldn't be a statute of liberty. Vosh literally said that children should be able to consent to sex. So he's a pedophile.
Now you, on the other hand, I don't think there's a sensitive way to say this, darling, so I'll just use my brother's words. He said you look like a sweaty nonce, love. I obviously totally disavow.
The wife beaters don't help either. Try and look nice in your videos.
Rude. It was very rude of him.
I mean, in the one video you have nice hair. Then the other video, you have that like weird pedophile ponytail.
Terribly insensitive. But
I know. Hey, this is some nice hair. I will defend this hair. These are not the same as this. This is nicely coiffed. It's cleaned. You ran some soap and water through that. The ponytail, that was some greasy shit. This looks fine. Including the beard, nicely groomed, kept. I think this looks okay. The beard, the ponytail, that's some pedophile shit.
Well, to phrase it another way, for any parents in the audience, me or Vosh, who are you letting babysit? I know it's a tough one. If you had to choose, take a minute to think about it. Difficult question. Who's spending the evening with your teenage daughter?
Please, right now, uncuck your dumb shit lip-cuck fucking SJW brains and recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship
See, he actually says it.
and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well.
Yeah, positively brain damaged. You're gonna brain damage the child. I mean, if you want to be objective, yes, child will feel pleasure during sex if the child actually wanted it, but that's literally for everything involving sex, and the child is incapable of understanding of what's going on, though, and the fact that a child might regret it in the future, and it's fucking gross, and who want, and all that shit. But yeah, objectively, if a child wanted it, it would feel good to the child. But that's sex in general. But no, that's wrong. You're a pedophile, Vosh. And you got the pedophile.
That is possible.
The
and
literal.
you got the pedophile. You're again. I don't know how you see the hypocrisy. And when you say shit like that, I don't know how you're popular.
Grooming.
Right?
Have I made my point?
How can a pedophile be actually popular, more popular than me? You know? Oh, did you hear that?
I think I've made my point. Don't accuse people of grooming when they seem far less like a groomer than you and have also never said creepy things about kids. Good rule of thumb, words to live by. Have that free advice, love.
Okay. Spoiled little rich kid throws his toys out the pram. Watching my channel.
I'm so tired.
I've woken up a little bit. Oh, here's that quote again. The hypocrisy quote. I had a violent ex-husband who used to tell me life would be great if only I'd comply, then women be quieter and start apologizing challenge. Literally, Rocker. I don't know how he doesn't see it when it's literally in writing.
Tired of the Professor Flowers bullshit, but I especially fucking hate it when it comes from women, especially white upper middle class women, because you know for a goddamn fact that this bitch has it better than like 99.9999.
Is that dirty talk from you, Vorsh? I think it.
In the past, the Observer talked about growing up poor. I've obviously grown up poor. I live in an apartment. Vosh it, the rich one here. A lot of bread tubers are rich, but but they don't hire any people. They're socialists in name only. They're champagne socialists.
It might
They
be.
claim to be for the working class, but they don't hire anybody. They don't do any kind of stuff like that. It's really, I hate it. It's awful.
Go on. Call me a filthy capitalist again, baby. Okay. So I feel pushed to talk about this because he made such a massive song and dance about it. And so did his followers. I think there were several variations of Posh Tough Bitch from them, which very progressive of you boys. Thank you. I never even mentioned trans people in that video for a start, only making me agree more with the argument that TERF is now just a misogynistic insult extreme left-wingers have taken to throwing at women they disagree with to get them to shut up.
What is a TERF? I don't know what a TERF is. TERF meaning... TERF, a person who... Sorry to spit. A person whose views on gender identity are considered hostile to transgender people, who opposes social and political policy designed to be inclusive of trans people. They accuse the protesters of being TERF and transphobic. Wouldn't TERF and transphobic be the same thing then? Okay, the more you know, I guess. Anyway, let's continue.
Your turf then if you want. I don't care. None of the words you use mean anything anymore anyway. Call me a Nazi for good measure, because why the fuck not? You have made everything meaningless and nothing matters. Go wild. So, due to Vorsch's little rant about my incredibly privileged upper middle class life, a few of his followers also thought they would let me know that, as an upper middle class girl who could not conceive of the struggles of ordinary women, apparently, what right did I have to speak about femininity and feminism? I don't know why you guys think by that logic that Vorsch has more of a right to speak on it than me, but okay. What do I know about the struggles of ordinary people, you ask? Does growing up not knowing if you could afford enough food for the week count? I grew up with no kind of security. My parents regularly couldn't afford to buy food. One of my greatest fears as a kid was being separated from my younger siblings if we ended up without a roof over our heads, and for a while we were on government benefits. You know, like most upper middle class people. I know I don't give off that kind of vibe. I was blessed with a fantastic education, but maybe you guys shouldn't make assumptions about the entire life story of someone you don't know.
Yeah, I think that's really shitty. Don't make assumptions about people's life. Like the other day, I had a conversation with somebody tried to call me a colonizer, and I said, "Hey, I'm Irish. My people had struggled too. Okay." And he didn't really have anything to say after that, and it's like, well, and now if you really want to argue this, everyone's family, every race, every whatever had struggles, everyone was enslaved at some point. It was never good, and trying to say, hey, I have more struggle, my family has more struggle than yours, is not going to work, especially because everyone in at least America, there's no slaves in America. There are sex trafficking and stuff like that, but the average person,
Because the fact is, you don't know. I don't even disagree with him. Like, I do consider myself incredibly lucky and privileged. I'm not denying that. I feel very blessed.
Yeah,
But what
I have been blessed too. I've been lucky to be able to live with my family and my family take care of me,
not going to do is let Vorsch, with his cushy YouTube gig and immense success, sit there smug as you like and have the absolute gall to lecture me about privilege and the struggles of ordinary people like I'm the one who's out of touch.
I think back to 2021, okay? A time period during which my channel made entirely too much money.
I mean, I don't think you can make too much money, You're just popular and then people like to send you money, okay? I don't think you can make too much money. But that would go with it politics, right? You would think he would have too much money. Okay, that is at least it's consistent, I think. Again, with the ponytail, pedophile ponytail.
And I don't remember a single AdSense.
Come on, man. It still wasn't entirely too much.
Entirely too much.
No.
Doing all right from YouTube, are we, Vorsch? How much you making? A lot more than me, I bet. Are you rich, Vorsch? Nice. What's that like? How much? Right? How much money? How much money do you have right now in your wallet? Is it enough to buy a pony? Could you buy a pony, Vorsch? Could you buy a snazzy car with the money in your bank account? I could tell you how much money is in my bank account, but the answer would only make me depressed. It's much more fun to talk about how much money you have. You've got to let me know how all that privilege feels. It looks like it's fun. I bet it's fun. Is it fun? I'm glad you're having fun, Vorshi. If you're happy, I'm happy.
J.K. Rowling's in the same position. She lives in a fucking castle.
You think I'm in the same position as J.K. Rowling? I fucking wish. You are ridiculous, mate. Oh, I wouldn't be on YouTube if I was. I'd have fucked off to some private island somewhere. Is that just because we both have similar English accents? Okay.
Does Vosh assume all British people are rich? I wonder.
I live in a building at the moment. But please tell me more about my castle. It sounds bloody marvelous. Does it have a moat? I would like a moat. At least give me a moat.
So after I filmed this video, I discovered that apparently Vorsh is a Beverly Hills rich kid. Well, Vorshi, now isn't this an interesting turn of events? You grew up rich, and I grew up on government benefits.
This posh bullshit is insufferable.
Oh, you brave little soldier. What a hero fighting the good fight. Tell me again how contemptibly upper middle class I am.
This upper middle class, like British affect right here, this thing that she's doing, everything about it
To be
exudes
fair, he might be talking about her accent. He might, to be fair.
arrogance and condescension and classist elitism.
Go on, mate, have another go about my...
No, he's definitely talking about her wealth. I don't know what this says.
accent. You must have some more things to say. I'd love to hear them. Tell me how condescending and classist I sound. You might have to shout loudly though, love, so I can hear you from all the way up there on the Hollywood Hills.
Do you know for a goddamn fact that this bitch has it better than like 99 point...
God, I actually can't believe this after your little tantrum about how elitist I was. You'd think you'd raise yourself alone on the streets living on bin juice the way you carried on, wailing like a Dickensian orphan with that little faux outrage dramatic performance. But it turns out your upbringing was less Oliver Twist and more Gossip Girl. I don't know how you have the nerve to be disgusted at anyone for being obnoxiously upper middle class. Don't take out your weird self-hating socialist rich kid guilt on me, though I do have a suggestion for how you can deal with it, darling, and I really think this might solve...
I did read a study. I did watch a video how people grew up rich. They don't like their wealth because I don't remember the whole thing. I just abandoned from that. But rich people who grow up rich tend to hate their wealth. I don't know why.
Of your problems, but you'll have to follow my instructions exactly. I'll tell you what I want you to do, Vorshy boy, and listen really carefully. I want you to take all your moral superiority, all your talk about privilege, all your posturing and your posing, all your faux concern, all your sneering and your god complex about being the saviour of the common man. I want you to take all of that, Vorshy. Yeah? Are you with me so far? I want you to take all of that and I want you to shove it right up your arse, you whiny little rich boy. How dare you lecture me?
Also, why is it difficult to imagine why all women, even well-off...
And since he's rich, why does he dress like a fucking hobo?
...women, yes, even J.K. Rowling, would care about women's issues and femininity? A very dear friend of mine is from a very wealthy family, and it still didn't protect her from getting sexually assaulted. Does she not have a leg to stand on then when it comes to feminism and talking about women's issues? Because she's an upper-class white girl?
What does your class have to do with any of it anyway?
Mouth shut about issues that affect women because what? A certain income bracket makes you not a woman anymore and therefore immune to the negatives of the female experience? And of course, some women still have it harder than others. Of course that's true. But women's issues still affect all women. And how about me? Why am I so concerned with talking about the value of femininity? Why would I want women to feel that they had their own innate strengths? What reason could I have for saying embracing their femininity didn't make them weak, that being feminine did not make them worthless or pathetic? I don't know. Could it be because there's a lot of women and girls I admire and love who felt devalued, powerless, abused, targeted, exploited, humiliated, silenced, or made to feel worthless because of their femininity? And I'm of the opinion that they actually shouldn't feel that way. Just one example, picking at random. Let's take my aunt as a case study, almost beaten to death several times by her first husband, culminating in him trying to shoot her and my then 2-year-old severely autistic cousin before doing everyone a favour and putting a bullet in his own brain. But goodness me, why would I be concerned with women's issues and defending women and wanting women to know their value? Golly gosh, maybe it's because I'm just a lazy entitled brat who wants to wear pretty dresses and just be taken care of, because after all, what does a silly, naive, spoiled girl like me know of the big bad world safe up here in my ivory tower? There's this really disgusting attitude that Vorsh and many of his followers seem to have, which I've recently been on the receiving end of, that women they perceive to be of a certain social class or above a certain income bracket don't deserve any of the benefits of feminism. Like him saying he doesn't care about...
Why? I would like to hear them develop that point.
...and abused because she's a billionaire. Well-off women still get assaulted. They're still women, like my friend I mentioned. The weird attitude that these women don't really know what it's like to be women, so shut the fuck up like the privileged, snooty bitches they are, is actually a really creepy attitude.
Yeah.
It's got the same energy
Do rich women not go through puberty or something? Do they think that?
to it as those really aggressive blokes who think women deserve to be knocked down a peg or two. Those guys who kind of want to see women degraded, who think maybe they should be roughed up a bit. Excuse you, gentlemen. Feminism is supposed to be for all women, regardless of class, race, age, or appearance. You don't get to corner off a section of women it's okay to take your anger out on because you think they've had it too easy and you resent them for it. If that's what you're doing, you're not a feminist. You're just channeling your hatred of women in a specific direction so you can pretend to yourselves you're still good people while also having an outlet for all your vile, weird, misogynistic feelings. No, pick one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Most of Vorsh's followers that decided to drop me a nice little message mentioned my accent, and also the fact that I should be quiet because I clearly had never experienced any of the everyday bad things most women go through. Firstly, as we've established, yes, I do know what it's like to not be able to afford food and worry I won't have a roof over my head. The confidence of your assumptions is remarkable. And secondly, why do you think it's reasonable to do that? Why would a wealthy woman not have as much right to talk about her experiences or opinions on femininity as anyone else?
I don't have much to say on this because I just agree with all of it.
You don't get to strip them of their womanhood. You don't get to tell them how they should feel about their experiences. You don't get to tell them to shut up about what it means to be female. You don't get to do that. You don't get to take that from them. You don't get to try and remove the essence of what they are. Not to any woman of any background. Okay? If she's a woman, she's a woman, and she can speak about what that's like, about what her understanding of femininity is. You're also kind of proving my point in how femininity is seen as weak and frivolous. In me making the argument that I think femininity is valuable, you all seem to see it as me saying women should float around in pretty dresses all day doing what we're told, and that the only reason I must be saying that is because life's been too easy for me. You utter misogynists. You think that's what femininity is? I don't think that's what femininity is. One of the most feminine people I knew was my grandmother. She was born into absolute, and I mean absolute poverty, grew up in an abusive home and clawed her way out of it. Her life was fucking hard, and she was as tough as nails, a will of absolute iron, also the kindest woman in the world, and she didn't need to beat people up in order to be strong or valuable, which really was what most of my argument boiled down to. There was nothing weak about her. And what's not going to happen is you lot equating femininity with weakness, or sneering at feminine women as being pathetic, or telling women the only way they can be strong is to be more like men. Yeah, we're not doing that, and I think most women aren't on board with that, no matter how loudly you activists screech that they are. The disdain towards femininity from you lot was obvious. There was some very telling comment about how I think women shouldn't get their dainty little hands dirty with fighting. I never said that. If women want to fight, they can fight. And as I've stated, I don't have a problem with female action heroes. My argument is that in general...
I mean, I don't either. I just think I'd rather, female action heroes, bulk up a little bit more like what male actors do. They get a little bulk on. I'd like to see them, maybe with a little bit of muscle, and that would make me happy, Obviously, if it's like some superhero character, they don't need to because they have super strength. But I don't know. I would appreciate, it'd be more believable, I guess.
Women are not as good at fighting as men. Really not a very controversial statement. Open your eyes and look at the world. And using that as the main metric of strength on which to judge someone is inherently misogynistic and ignores and devalues the strengths of most everyday women. My argument is that turning every female character into a badass fighter chick, because apparently that's the only way to be strong, is an insult towards most women. And that's not to say that the women who do fight don't have value, because of course they do. Never said they don't. The fact you use that wording, don't get your dainty little hands dirty, yeah, kind of sounds like you're pretty disdainful of women who aren't like that, of more feminine women. Because it sounds to me like you hold masculinity in far higher regard. Thank you for demonstrating that.
Also, I want to add that it also adds another whole new, even creepier dimension to his bizarre thing he's got with well-off women. The fact that he's from that kind of background, it just makes it very strange.
I'm so tired of the Professor Flowers bullshit, but I especially fucking hate it when it comes from women, especially white upper middle class women. While
She's racist too. because race had nothing to do with it.
Eats roast pheasant off the back of like a slave that she bought and will be
What?
sacrificing later that evening. You know, okay,
What the fuck?
J.K. Rowling. And this upper middle class like British affect right here, this thing that she's doing.
So it's okay for Vuz Haunting it. It's okay for Vorsh to be really successful and have loads of money. But he seems to have a problem with women who are in that position too. It's very strange. Mate, I'll be honest, I think your issues with women are really bloody deep-seated. I don't know what the hell's going on with you, but seriously, sort it out. It's bloody weird.
Be quiet and start apologizing. I would agree with this. He said some seriously whacked shit. He's a pedophile. He should probably be in prison.
Anyway, that's everything. Thank you, Vorsh, for proving correct everything I said about you. I couldn't have done it better myself if I'd sat down and planned out an example of the type of male feminist that I was talking about. So bless you for that. Thank you for demonstrating that male feminists resent femininity and want to stamp it out wherever they find it. Thank you for demonstrating your complete disdain for it and disgust for it. There have always been men like this, only now they get to claim the label of feminist. Now they get to be applauded for it, just as long as they're doing it, the women deemed heretics. At least the bloody witchfinders had the decency not to claim they were doing it all in the name of women's rights. I'm sorry, but you can't convince me that if Vorsh was born a few centuries earlier, that's not exactly the type of guy he would be. That's all I see when I look at him. Different labels, same men.
She's wearing a fucking skirt with stockings. She just wants to live in Mad Men and be sexually harassed.
Well, she was a whore anyway.
Like, you know, like just the short skirt plus like the stockings and the
Wedge!
so on.
Cloud the mind with unholy thoughts.
She's a pick-me. No wonder she's dressed like this.
You really kind of have to think about what a whore is.
Shut up, bitch.
I see you, Vorshi. I see your weakness and your cowardice and your anger towards women and your hatred of women. I think most people see it. And it's not pretty. Vorsh, be quieter and start apologizing challenge.
Okay, I have to go. Like, subscribe, and comment to me and the Authentic Observer.